You're born on Komodo Island, tucked away in a sweltering burrow, your first home feeling more like a sauna than a safe haven. Cramped in the darkness, you push against the eggshell, cracking it open to a world you've never seen before. But there's no time to marvel at the new sights and sounds. Survival starts now. No loving mother waits to greet you. No comforting warmth from family. You're on your own from the second you hatch. And your first challenge is making sure you aren't breakfast. Your siblings, they're not your allies, they're competition. And worse, they might just decide you look like a tasty snack. If you're lucky enough to be the first to hatch, you need to act fast. Clawing your way free, you scramble up the nearest tree, driven by pure instinct. Down below, hungry adults prowl, their forked tongues flicking through the air, searching for food. To them, you're nothing more than a free McNugget. So there you are, clinging to a tree branch, getting your first real look at the world. For now, just focus on surviving your first few days because the real adventure is just beginning. For the next few months, you're on a strict no-ground diet, because down there, it's a jungle in the most literal sense, where every step could be your last. Imagine living on the 50th floor of a skyscraper because the streets are filled with zombies. Yeah, it's kind of like that. Only instead of zombies, it's your very own kin patrolling the ground, all ready to take a bite out of anything that moves. You're not completely defenseless, though. You've got instincts, quick reflexes, and a strong survival instinct that kicks in from day one. Plus, you've inherited a handy little trick, the art of camouflage. With your mottled brown and green scales, you blend right into the leaves and bark, making it that much harder for anything hungry to spot you. Think of it as your very own invisibility cloak, but instead of dodging wizards and Hogwarts, you're avoiding becoming someone's lunch. At this stage, your life is all about survival 101, find food, stay hidden, and whatever you do, don't fall out of the tree. Your diet's about as varied as a college student's during finals week, whatever you can scavenge or catch. From insects and small lizards to the occasional bird that's too slow for its own good, every meal is a victory. And every day you avoid becoming a meal? An even bigger win. But don't get too comfortable in that tree, because soon you're going to have to face the real world down low, and trust me, that's when things really start to get interesting. You're no longer that helpless hatchling clinging to a branch for dear life. Now, you're ready to start exploring the wild world of Komodo Island. Your first few steps on solid ground are like a toddler taking their first wobbly steps, except in your case, the stakes are a bit higher. Every rustle in the bushes could be a potential meal or a threat. Your senses are on high alert. It's basically hardcore Minecraft, but in real life. Now, in most animal worlds, this would be the part where mom swoops in to show you the ropes. But as we've established, Komodo moms aren't exactly the nurturing type. Instead, you're left to figure out things on your own, and that means a lot of trial and error. Your days are filled with mini-missions, stalking unsuspecting critters, practicing your stealth moves, and trying not to end up on the menu of a bigger predator. It's all part of the learning curve, and you're slowly but surely getting the hang of it. At first, your hunts are more hide-and-seek than stealthy predator. You'll spend hours lying in wait, trying to blend in with the underbrush, your heart pounding like a drum as you watch potential meals scuttle by or get snatched, but by a much more experienced dragon show-off. But when you finally nail that first successful hunt, it's like winning the lottery of lizards and rats. As you grow, so does your confidence. You're exploring further from your original tree, pushing boundaries, and generally acting like the reptilian version of a rebellious teenager. Each day you become a little more daring, a little more skilled, and a lot less likely to end up as someone else's dinner. But it's not all smooth sailing. Remember those siblings you escaped from at birth? They're still around. And now it's time for some good old-fashioned sibling rivalry. And the prize is, well, not dying. As you transition from Komodo teen to adulthood, you start to realize that the world is both bigger and smaller than you once thought. The island is vast, but it's also crowded with other dragons, each staking their claim to the best hunting grounds. It's time to find your own territory. Think of it like moving out of your parents' basement and into your first flat, except your parents never had a basement and your family's been trying to eat you this whole time. Finding territory is like trying to score the last available seat at a sold-out concert. It takes luck, strategy, and probably a scuffle or two. You'll roam across Komodo Island, covering miles of rugged terrain, scanning for that perfect spot. Once you find a potential territory, the real challenge begins, making it yours. Imagine walking for hours to find the perfect spot, only to discover that it's already been taken by a dragon twice your size. Now you've got a choice. Try to negotiate which, let's be honest, is going to end in a fight, or keep moving and hope for a less crowded patch of land. Now that you've got your territory, congrats by the way, it's time to settle into the daily routine of a full-fledged Komodo dragon. Your schedule is a mix of hunting, patrolling, and catching up on sleep. Lots and lots of sleep. You're not one to waste energy, so when you hunt, you go big. One large meal a week is your style, something that'll keep you satisfied for days. You're aiming for deer, wild boar, or even the occasional water buffalo. Your hunting style is all about patience and precision. You lie in wait, blending into the landscape until the perfect moment to strike. It's a high-stakes game of hide and seek where the prize is dinner. And the cost of losing is another day of hunger. But when you do succeed, it's worth the wait. You'll feast like a king and then slip into a food coma that'll make a Thanksgiving nap look like a quick power snooze. As you reach full maturity at around 7 to 10 years, you start taking extra notice of the female Komodos roaming around. That's your urge to mate kicking in. Mating season's like the ultimate dating game. For male dragons, the competition's fierce. You've got to prove your worth to the ladies, and that means showing off your strength, size, and survival skills. If a female finds you impressive, she might just let you get close enough to mate. Just don't screw up your chance, because the competition's tough and your brother might just be waiting in line. Once you've successfully mated, your job isn't quite done. If you're a female, you lay your eggs in a carefully selected spot, burying them deep to protect them from predators. After that, it's back to a solitary life, leaving the next generation to fend for themselves, just like you did. You've somehow made it past 10 years, all the way to 15. Congratulations. In the wild world of Komodo dragons, that's like reaching your 90s with all your teeth intact. But with age comes new challenges, and you knew this day would come. Another younger dragon wants your territory. This battle might be your last. Maybe you win, just driving the challenger away one last time. Or maybe you lose, forced to retreat to the fringes of your land, battered but not broken. Either way, this fight marks the beginning of the end. After years of ruling your territory, you give one last growl. The jungle will continue with or without you, and somewhere out there a new dragon is hatching, ready to begin the journey you've just completed.